Today, of course, we are making a few announcements, which you may call as the next step in the series of stimulus announcements that we've been making. But before doing that, I wish to give a picture of the economy as it stands now, and also give you a picture of the various progress that we've made in the Atmanirbhar announcements that we've made over the months. So first, the state of the economy, there is definitely a strong recovery seen that is emerging. Active cases of COVID have declined from 10 lakhs to 4.89 lakhs. And the case fatality rate has also come down. It is at 1.47 as it stands now, 1.47%. If I move over to talking about the economy, you're aware in the last 10-15 days, there have been quite a few measures and steps and indicators which have shown that the recovery is happening and distinctly, clearly happening. The Composite Purchase Managers Index has risen to 58.9 in October, and the previous month it was at 54.6. And therefore, this is the strongest increase that you've seen in output in close to 9 years. So that itself shows it is just not the pent-up demand, but also a strong pitch for recovery. The next is about the energy consumption growth. That's been at a very high level. If you look at year-on-year comparison, it's at 12%, October to October, 20, 21. The GST collections, of course, even as it was announced, had touched 1.05 gross, 1.05 lakh crores, and it's a 10% year-on-year comparison. Daily railway freight tonnage also has grown by 20% year-on-year. And if you were to look at the previous week comparison, we are taking it that it is year-on-year 12% was the figure earlier. Bank credit, which most often we have this little worry that credit flow is slowed, but I would like to say here, bank credit year-on-year growth improved by 5.1% as of 23rd October 2020. Of course, markets, you're watching, markets are at record high. Record market capitalization is happening. Net investments, FPIs, is positive. And the reserves like never before of foreign exchange is at $560 billion US. Now, you also know that the RBI has now announced that it will come out with a monthly report of how the economy is moving. And the first of such series of monthly reports, it used to give us reports even earlier, but now looking at the economy, they are giving us this monthly report, which predicts a strong return to proper growth of the Indian economy, to positive growth. And in Q3 itself, there could be a strong growth, which will bring into the positive terrain. And the expectation earlier was that it will be probably in the fourth quarter that we will reach that kind of a number, but RBI predicts probably that will happen even in the Q3. You also seen that several prominent economists have been writing as to what is the nature of this rebound, and it is just not due to pent-up demand. It's a sustainable, strong economic growth that which is being read by many economists who have been writing and also noticing that this growth is also getting energized by the unrelenting reform pitch with which a lot of strong steps towards systemic reforms are being taken by the government. So this is the strong recovery picture which I'd like to put before you. And like the earlier announcements, I'll do it in English and Anuragji would do it in Hindi. Before I go in for the Hindi, it's also important for us, and I'm sure many of you all have noticed, that Moody's today have come out with the numbers for Indian economy, saying that earlier they were talking about 9.6 negative growth for India, which they have now reassessed and said that it won't probably be at 9.6 negative, it might probably just be 8.9 negative. Whereas for 2022, they had come with a very clear indication that India will be growing at 8.1% earlier, but now they've corrected themselves and said probably India will be growing not at 8.1, but at 8.6. So even these kind of assessments which are being made by agencies are indicating that there is a correction which is happening in a positive direction for India. I now go to telling you about, on some selected announcements made during Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, the progress, so that you know that there is a continuity with which we are coming up with the announcements. And I call them under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan 1.0 and Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan 2.0. Now, under 1.0, there are 3 slides with which I explain the progress in some of the items. What are those some? Why should it be only some? Some which have a direct bearing on the poor, the farmers, and so on, are the ones I'm giving you progress on. On the others, we are ready to give the progress, but probably I didn't want to take more of the time here. We will share it with you. So, under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan 1.0, some of the announcements which were made are seeing very good progress. And the first one I take there is about the One Nation, One Ration card, in which interstate portability has been achieved in 28 states and union territories. They are all under the national portability of ration cards now, and from 1st September, they are actually effectively on in terms of giving interstate portability. And how many people does it cover? 68.6 crore beneficiaries are now opting for lifting their food grains from any of the FPS stores of their choice in any of the 28 states or union territories. Intra-state portability, that is within a state portability, is also enabled in those 28 states and union territories, and 1.5 crore monthly transactions are happening in them. This is very important, and this was one of the very progressive steps that we took towards the poor being ensured of food security. If you go to the next one, which is the PM Street Vendors Atmanirbhar Nidhi, which is the PM Swanidhi, you have 26.62 lakh loan applications which have been received, of which 13.78 lakh loans totaling 1,373 crores which have been sanctioned in 30 states and 6 union territories. So the coverage of the PM Swanidhi for the street vendors is now there in 30 states, and that is the number of people who have already got covered, and applications which are otherwise there will all be attended to at the earliest. I remember talking before you all about migrant workers and also the way in which the union government is responding to make sure that they are given some kind of a facilitation. However, the portal which was going to have been made for recording the movements of migrants from where to where and so on, the work was commenced on starting a portal. Labour Ministry together with the Finance Ministry and other concerned ministries are working together closely with the states, and the work has commenced for creating a portal on migrant workers. Again, progress in some key items under the Atmanirbhar 1.0 announcements. At that time, we had made announcements linked to the Kisan credit cards. Credit boost has been achieved to 2.5 crore farmers through the KCC. 183 lakh applications were received, slightly over that, and banks have issued that 157 lakh KCC, Kisan Credit Cards, to the eligible farmers, and the total amount sanctioned is also given there, 1,43,262 crores were distributed in 2 phases. So that progress ensured that the farmers got the Kisan Credit Cards, and also the eligible farmers who received the Kisan Credit Cards received that money amount as sanctioned credit for those farmers. So farmers were covered through the Kisan Credit Card and through the credit through the Kisan Credit Card for the immediate agricultural activity-based requirements. Similarly, we announced a Matsya Sampada Yojana, and in that 21 states have sent the proposals. They've also received the money and sanctioned 1,681 crores for the fishermen who were to be covered under Matsya Sampada Yojana. A third item which I would want to put here is also for the farmers. At that time, we were still talking about the Kharif crop and also harvest of Kharif. We were somewhere between. But in anticipation of the Rabi, we said we will give over and above the BE 25,000 crores, which will be distributed to the farmers so that their preparation for Rabi, preparation for sowing for Rabi will all be facilitated. I am happy to say 25,000 crores have been distributed of that additional amount over and above the BE through the NABARD for that purpose. I now move to the third slide, showing the progress of some of the key areas which relate to the Atmanirbhar Bharat package of 1.0. That is the first stage announcement of the Atmanirbhar. I move to the third slide, where the emergency credit liquidity guarantee scheme which was announced, which came to be identified with just the MSMEs, which did not just help the MSMEs but also help professionals and others. Total amount sanctioned, it was a 3 lakh crore ECLGS, in which 2.05 lakh crores have been sanctioned to about 61 lakh borrowers, who included MSMEs, professionals, and many others who were just not MSMEs, they could be others also, of which 1.52 lakh crores have been disbursed. So that is on the ECLGS. We also had announced at that time partial credit guarantee scheme through the public sector banks. They have bought portfolios worth 26,889 crores. Again, that also infused liquidity. There was a third scheme called the special liquidity schemes, which were primarily for the NBFCs and the housing finance corporations, the smaller ones. 7,227 crores have been disbursed to the NBFCs and the HFCs. And the last item here relates to how much of liquidity has been infused into the DISCOMs. 17 states have received a sanction of 118.273 crores. Am I right in saying that? 1,18,273 crores worth of loans have been sanctioned to about 17 states, of which 11 states have received disbursed amounts. Amounts have been released to them to the extent of 31,136 crores. So this is just very quickly to give you the progress of what happened was what had been announced as Atmanirbhar Package 1, and on that some selected items for which progress is shown here, but progress is happening in each one of the announcements which were made, which will be separately given to you rather than taking more time. We are only till now talking about what was announced, what progress is being made. I'll quickly also say about Atmanirbhar 2.0, about which there'll just be one slide for you all to know if the progress is being made. Post that, I'll go for today's announcements. I move to Atmanirbhar Bharat 2.0. Just one slide to show you the progress there. We had made these announcements on 12th of October, largely talking about the festival advance which was going to be given as a actual breakaway from the recommendations of the Pay Commission. We brought back the festival advance just this one time so that people get money in their hands to spend. SBI is issuing what is called the Utsav cards, through which festival advance is being given. Good progress is being made there. LTC voucher scheme was also launched for the central government, and many of these employees who are unable to travel because of the given conditions were given the option, instead of traveling, they could spend that money in buying some things, and in that also we are seeing a lot of progress. Other than that, Atmanirbhar Bharat 2.0 package also spoke about 25,000 crores in addition being provided over and above the BE for capital expenditure, primarily aiming at Ministry of Road Transport and also Ministry of Defense. That is also being well received by both the ministries, and they are taking a lot of steps forward. And the last one which I'll refer here is 11 states have been sanctioned 3,621 crores as interest-free loans towards capital expenditure. You'll remember that we had announced this. 11 states have already taken 3,621 crores. Just 1 minute here. I want to give an additional input that this 3,621 crores is not inclusive of what Bihar proposes to do, because Bihar was going through the election code of conduct and other things. They had not said. You may add another about 450 crores to that amount, which will be spent by Bihar for its own capital expenditure. Over and above this, which I think we have not mentioned here, which is only right that we have not mentioned it here, is income tax refunds, which even then I did say, and even now I'm saying, that is people's own money, taxpayers' own money. But why am I including it saying here? Refunds have gone in a big way to the people, because in time, if they get the money, the refund, it will help them. 1,32,800 crores have gone as refunds to nearly 39.7 lakh assessees. It's their money. I'm not making a claim to that. But refund, instead of sitting with us for whatever reason, which is not right, without any delay, has been given to the tax assessees in time. 1,32,800 crores. I now move to today's announcements. There are 12 different things that we want to announce. You may want to refer to it as Atmanirbhar 3.0. I first start with the first announcement, which is Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana. I have 3 slides on it. This Prime Minister Rozgar Protsahan Yojana is something which all of you all already know. It exists. It was implemented up to 31/3/2019. It had covered all sectors, beginning textiles, and then it is expected to run 3 years. It is running for 3 years. So even if somebody joined the scheme on 31/3/2019, they would be covered under that existing scheme for another, from then 3 years. It is still active. Up to today, there's about 8,300 crores which have been disbursed to the beneficiaries, and there are about 1,52,899 establishments which are covering that many number of 1,21,69,000 odd beneficiaries under the PM Rozgar Protsahan Yojana, which is an existing Yojana. The new scheme, which we are now calling as Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana, is being launched so that we incentivize creation of new employment opportunities so that the recovery phase benefits from it. What does this mean? It means that every EPFO registered establishment, those registered establishment, if they take new employees who never were covered by EPFO earlier, if they take them on, or if they bring in employees who had lost their jobs between 1st March 2020 and 30th September 2020, even they will be counted as new employees, although they may have an EPFO number earlier. Both will benefit from this. I'll go back to saying, go to the next slide, but not now, next slide. If I do, when I move over to that, I'll explain as to what kind of benefit will be given. But EPFO registered organizations, if they bring in new employees, new employee being those who didn't have an EPFO number earlier, or new employee being those who lost the job between 1st March and 30th September of this year, will all be counted as new employee who join or who get recruited by EPFO registered organization. They will get some benefits. The benefits I'll explain in a minute, but this is the new scheme which we are launching now. And this will be effective from 1st October 2020. So EPFO registered organizations which recruit new employees from 1st October will be covered. They will be covered for the next 2 years. The earlier scheme covered for 3 years. Now it will cover for 2 years. So on this, just a bit of clarity. We go over to the second slide on this first announcement. These are establishments which are registered under the EPFO. They add new employees, and the employees will have to be at least 2 minimum if the reference base for the establishment is 50 employees or less, and minimum 5 employees, 5 new employees if the reference base for those establishment is more than 50 employees. Now, these will have to happen between 1st October 2020 and it will be operational only till 30th June 2021, meaning these establishments, if they recruit people from 1st October 2020 until 30th June 2021, they will be covered under the scheme. And when I said covered, they will be covered for the next 2 years. How they will be covered, I'll cover in the next slide. But this is the criteria which is before us. So we now move to talking about what exactly is the benefit which they are going to get. Central government will give the subsidy for 2 years in respect of the new eligible employees who are engaged on or after 1/10/2020 till, as I said, June of 2021. For those establishments which have up to 1,000 employees or less, employees' contribution of 12% of the wages and employers' contribution of 12% of the wages, totaling 24% of the wages, will be borne by the central government. Now, when we are talking of employees, here we are talking of employees who have 15,000 or less as wages, not for all employees. Similarly, for those establishments which have more than 1,000 employees, only the employees' EPF contribution, which is 12%, will be 12% of the EPF wages will be borne by the union government. This subsidy support to get credited upfront in Aadhaar seeded EPFO accounts of eligible new employee. That's the only condition. We want it to be Aadhaar seeded. So that is the actual benefit that establishments will get if they create new jobs.